Okay, you should have your 18-2 work together open. In the directions, it says the journals and a loan payment schedule for Lamber's stores are provided below. Assuming the current year, we're going to journalize the following transactions on page 6 of the cash receipts journal and page 12 of the cash payments journal. Refer to the loan payment schedule when journalizing the December 1st transaction. Source documents are abbreviated as CRNM. So the first thing that they give us is that payment schedule for Lamber's stores. So we can see how much we borrowed, the note of the term, the term of the note, the annual interest, the monthly payment, and then we see how much for each month is paid for interest and principal. Okay, getting down to our transactions, it says on June 1st, we signed a 5-year, 9% note, $25,000, receipt number 337. We know that we're going to be receiving cash, so that tells us we're going into our cash receipts journal. So I'm going to go ahead and put in June 1st. I'm receiving cash, so that's going to be a debit of cash, so $25,000. I'm then going to credit my long-term notes payable. Receipt 337. I'm crediting for the same amount of $25,000. I have a debit and a credit that equal, so I'm going to move on to July 1st. July 1st, issued a 20-year 6% $5,000 bonds for $200,000, receipt number 345. Again, I'm receiving cash, so I'm going to put this in my cash receipts journal. July 1st, I'm receiving cash, so I'm going to go to my cash debit. I'm receiving that full amount, so $200,000. My account title then for my credit is going to be bonds payable. I'm using receipt 345. And I'm going to credit for the same amount of $200,000. Excuse me. Okay, so December 1st, it says that we paid cash for the December payment on the June 1st note payable, $518.96, check number 842. So right away I see that I'm using a check. That right there should be a hint that I'm going to go to my cash payments journal. So my date is December 1st. I know that I'm going to be paying cash, so it's going to be a cash credit. I'm going to credit cash for that full amount, $518.96. Now, I have to figure out what I'm going to be debiting then. And so to figure that out, that's where, if you remember in the directions, it said that we're going to need to look at our payment schedule to figure that out. So I'm making that payment on December, so I need to look at this here. So I have payment number 6, December. It tells me my beginning balance. It tells me how much I'm paying in interest, how much I'm paying in principal, and then my ending balance. So when I go down here to record that, I'm going to look at my principal amount. My principal amount is going to go to my long-term notes payable. We use check 842. Oops, I'm debiting long-term notes payable. So the principal amount for December was $344.08. Okay, now I do not have a debit or credit that equal. So that tells me that I'm going to have another debit because my credit is higher here. So my other debit is going to go to my interest expense. Now when I look back up here again under December, my interest is $174.88. Now when I add my two debits together, I should get $518.96. Now I have a debit and credit that equal. Okay, December 31st, it says that we paid cash for semi-annual interest on bonds. Check number 861. Okay, so for this one, again, I'm paying cash, so I'm going to go down here. I don't need to put December in there because it's already listed, so I just need to put the 31st. I know that I'm paying cash, so I'm going to credit cash, and I'm paying cash for my interest on my bonds. So I know that I'm going to debit interest expense. I'm using check 861. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to figure out how much I'm actually paying for that semi-annual interest. Now, if you remember from your book, if you still have that open, you should. To figure that out, we're going to take the face value. So we need to look up here at the top. Our face value of our bond was $200,000. So I'm going to take my face value and I'm going to multiply that times the percentage. We have a 6% interest rate. And then it says that I need to do the time as a fraction of a year. Now, here it tells us that this is semi-annual. So semi-annual means that it's going to be half of a year. Now, in accounting, remember, we use 360 days as a year. So half of that is going to be 180. So we're going to take 180 over 360 for our last number. Oops, sorry, put mine in my calculator wrong. So 200,000 times 6% times 180 over 360. Excuse me. So we should get $6,000. So that means we're going to debit our interest expense for $6,000 and we're going to credit cash for $6,000. Go ahead and check your answer. And save and continue. Okay, you can now work on the 18.2 on your own. Once you are done with that, please go on to the 18.3 lecture video.